Ah. Sit down. Hi, my name is Julie Chang, and I'm the creator of 940, as in there are only 940 weekends from the time your child is born till they go to college.
940. 940!
Okay, without sounding dramatic, I've been on my own since I was 15 years old. I also battled and survived a brain tumor. I'm also a mom of two, and all of these journeys combined have given me a very unique perspective on time. That's what 940 is about. Actionable, accessible ideas that make this all easier and, gosh, I don't know, maybe fun? If 940 had a mission statement, it would be this.
Make time matter for people who matter.
In this episode, we explore the power of nature. Okay, quick show of hands. Who here loves going to the doctor? That's what I thought. The possibility of doom and gloom news, the high cost of it all, insurance or no insurance worries, being probed. You guys, I can totally, absolutely totally relate. But even with all my health pitfalls, I'm still here. And what if you looked forward to a doctor's visit as much as, say, a dance party with Twitch and Allison? That is, what if your doctor looks to nature to cure your ailments? You know, prescriptions that include things like,
you must lay in a hammock once a week with no electronics. You must go surfing 3 times a week.
Nature prescription is a movement that is happening right now. Physicians with ParkRx America are tapping into our greatest and perhaps most effective healing tool. But before we dig further, let's recap. In 940 Power of Nature Part 1, bonafide tree whisperer Holly Wharton teaches us how to, talk to trees. No joke, she was once lost in the woods and a tree guided her back to the trail. Watch the episode if you're feeling skeptical. In Power of Nature Part 2, we swooned over spiders. Entomologist Phil Torres enlightens us on just how bugs get all of our sensors going. But if insects are not your jam, no worries. We also share nature scavenger apps to get you connected to the outdoors. And today, in our third and final installment of Power of Nature, we take doctor's orders.
So ParkRx America, our goal is not only to educate healthcare providers on the benefits of nature, but it's also to teach them how to write prescriptions. Like one would write a prescription for a sinus infection or an ear infection, they would write an antibiotic. This is a similar type prescription, but it's for nature.
Ground zero for so many of our ailments is stress. One of the top reasons for stress, our inability to slow down. Which brings us to our first 940 pro tip. The key to slowing down is to get specific.
I'm so curious as to some of the prescriptions you hand out. Is it like listening to birds? Is it holding soil? Is it go for a walk in the park? Give me some examples.
Yes, yes, and yes. For some people, it's playing basketball with their brother at the local elementary school, walking your dog for 15 minutes a day, playing soccer with your dad. If you go on our website, there's a really nice video of a teenage girl who was very stressed, and she began to develop symptoms. She had headaches and chest pain and was going to the ER. So she had a prescription written for lying down in her uncle's hammock. I think it was an hour a week without any electronics, lying down in the hammock, just listening and looking around.
Every time I look at the sky, it's like nothing's moving. But if you really look at it, clouds move very slow.
Her chest pain went away. She realized she was less irritable. She had a very short temper before this, and her headaches also resolved. So it's really different for everybody. And that's the beauty of it, is that everyone picks what they think is going to benefit them and be beneficial. And the thing is, they follow up. So if it's not working and they don't like it, you change the prescription, just like if the first antibiotic doesn't work.
But I know what you're thinking. Who's got time to look for a physician participating with ParkRx America? And who wants to deal with insurance if you're lucky enough to have insurance? But this might be the only time you can safely prescribe yourself medication with zero downsides. Girl, come here. How you feeling? This is fine. Folks, it's 2021. Don't you want to just give them a little more space? One of the best parenting advice I ever got. Your job isn't to mold them, but rather to usher them into a safe space where their own little spirits can shine. Thanks, Bash and Sass, for making it so easy and stylish to do just that.
When you write a prescription, you can do it in one of two ways. We have over 7,000 parks around the country. You can put in an address on the website around the parks, and the parks that are within a certain amount, you get to choose half a mile, 5-mile radius of the person's address. They'll all pop up.
Also in the park's locator, you can select specific amenities that pique your interest, i.e. basketball court, pull-up bar, or tightrope walking. Looks super easy, super casual.
Or you can do a custom prescription. Somebody may want to go outdoors in their backyard and play ball with their dog for 15 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 o'clock.
So here's a vulnerable share. Once in a while, I have seizures. And more frequently, I have panic and anxiety attacks. The latter two feel sort of like I'm drowning. I can't take in enough air. They happen during my MRI scans, long car rides, airports, and just randomly. And there's that saying, right? Anxiety is excitement without breath.
Oh, you caught it.
So I self-prescribed myself surfing 1 to 2 times a week. It has to be one of the best sports to force you to be present. I mean, otherwise you'd get pummeled by a wave. The ritual of the sport, the waves breaking like an ocean's giggle, both exhilarates and calms me. So I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty bomb at writing custom nature prescriptions. So if you want some suggestions, DM me.
Losing weight, stress reduction, depression, kind of what the goal is, things that they can do consistently, when they can do it, and for how long. And when you're very specific, you make them accountable, and it's more likely that they're going to fill this prescription.
And it's pretty vital that you take the initiative, because sadly, so many of our urban environments are not designed for connecting with nature. Here's biologist Phil Torres with some shocking reality.
I had a colleague I worked with in New York. From her recollection, she hadn't stepped on real earth for about a year. It was, concrete, sidewalk, hardwood floors, subway stations. There's some cities out there where they aren't designed to get you to interact with real dirt for a year.
And here in Southern California, with hundreds of hiking trails, we find this very common, relatable story. Bernice Gill is a single mama who has limited time and fear of the outdoors.
I have never gone on a hike because I'm just scared of finding either a snake.
But once you realize snakes and any other wildlife are more afraid of you, you can bask in nature's benefits. Laura Rodriguez is with Youth Outside.
For many people, we don't have that choice. We were not choosing to be born into cities. Buy a small plant, put it somewhere where it's in your line of vision regularly. Buy a calendar that's got nature in it. Find YouTube with nature and sounds of nature. According to the science, those kinds of things trigger the same types of responses and positive health benefits.
Okay, before you think I'm some Palo Santo burning, crystal wielding, Venice hippie lady, some more science-backed evidence that nature healing works.
They've done similar studies in schools where students who had a plant inside or a view of nature or were able to get outside into a natural setting and then come back did much better on their tasks. They did better academically, fewer behavioral problems, fewer staying home because they were sick.
Study after study shows that being in nature decreases your heart rate, blood pressure, cortisol level, aka stress. Meanwhile, nature exposure increases your MK cells. Those cells boost your immune system so you can fight off infections and, prevent cancer. But my favorite factoid is that nature exposure regulates your emotions, which is just a fancy way of saying you're less likely to be an asshole.
It just naturally helps us to be in better relationships with ourselves and with others around us.
So in the context of 940, more of those precious and fleeting weekends can be spent with an open heart. Look at all the Lulus. And the irony of using the social media filter to prove my next point. Without a doubt, public enemy number one when it comes to fostering deep connection is our connection with screens, and more screens. You know all the doom and gloom stats, so I won't go into how we spend more hours on social media than we do with friends, family, and even sleeping. See what I did there? This brings us to another 940 pro tip. Set boundaries and schedule in nature until it becomes a healthy habit.
It's like the same as thinking about early substance use and abuse. Detrimental impacts on the development of children's brains, of children's physical bodies, if taken to an extreme, right? So I'm a big fan of balance. You don't have to necessarily not hold a screen or watch a screen or enjoy it. What I think is critical is remembering that outside time is as important, sort of create a space for in our days as brushing our teeth or having a bite to eat.
You brush your teeth?
No!
You change your clothes?
No.
Listen, it's hard, but if life is hard, it means you're doing it right. It means you are truly living 940 style. So take note from Bernice. Baby steps.
So I bought a tomato plant and strawberries.
That's great. So hopefully we'll have like a harvest.
Nature can be oh so sweet. And that, my friends, completes the 940 Power of Nature series. I do hope you'll watch all 3 parts. Next, we are getting colorful. Eyebrows and all. 940 dives deep into the power of play. How do I say this lightly? Did you know that we've been playing dangerously since the 1950s? And our new rules on how kids should play are leading to dangerous results. I know, so much to unpack here, and I promise we will. In the meantime, go. Take your nature meds, yup, brah, and
Kids are like